So we have the Hover Air X1. This is not sponsored. They did not send me this. I paid big bucks for this thing. And I hope it's worth it. Because if it isn't, it's going back. Thank God for Amazon. So we're going to open this. So I bought the combo kit because it was on sale. The combo kit just basically comes with the Hover Air. And it comes with the extra battery and charger. Which apparently you need for this because the battery on this thing does not last very long. It's about 10-minute flight time and that's pretty much it. But it's not really a drone. Everybody's trying to call this a drone. It's not really a drone because it doesn't have GPS. It doesn't have a remote control. It's actually an automated. Somebody called it an automated flying selfie stick, which is probably closer to to a drone than anything, because it's really just a camera that follows you around. It does special things, special effects, special movements to capture you as the main subject. And I actually saw this a while back ago. I think a couple years ago, probably. And it was on the GoFundMe. I think the GoFundMe, yeah. Know how they get everybody to. I think it's called GoFundMe. And I was this is kind of neat. Right? I wonder how much this is going to cost, right? So, listen, guys, it's not a cheap toy by any means. I think Canadian is about, I think US is about $3.99. Canada, I got on sale for, I think, $5.50 with the extra with the combo kit. So, but I've been watching videos on this for a while, and apparently the new firmware that just launched is supposed to make this thing, like, it's supposed to do some, like, gesture stuff. Which is pretty cool. So here's this thing. This thing's tiny. Look at this. Oh my god. I guess it has to be pretty small for it to do what it does, right? Give you an idea how big this thing is. So this is my cell phone, right? And that's how big this thing is. It's crazy, right? And it just folds open. And now you have this little thing that flies around. So why did I buy this for? Because this is going to be a great travel selfie camera. You don't even have to hold this thing. You just turn it on, press the mode that you want on here. You can actually connect the app to this and set your parameters for each of these modes. It's all This is all AI generated. Pretty cool. Very much like the Ace Pro. Everything's AI now, right? But what this thing does apparently is phenomenal. I'm not going to do a lot of the different flights because there's a million videos of this thing doing those things. And it's kind of boring to see it again. Alright, this is the battery pack that's charging. It's charged. Should be charged. It seems pretty rugged. Like it's not, you know. It's neat. You just fold it out. Like, this is so cool. And there was a guy doing a test on this. It's pretty neat. He was doing a test on this thing. Comes with a pouch. Oh, look at that. I'm going to 3D print a container for this. So I can just slide it in and I can put it in my bag for traveling. So protects all this and protects the camera as well. There's a guy that did a video on this. He says, oh yeah, he was comparing, he says he's got a DJI Mini, I think. Yeah, DJI Mini. And he was timing himself how long it would take for each of these devices to get it up in the air and do some videos and photos and then bring it back, put it away. And I think the Mini, by the time he opened it up, put the controller in, opened the drone up, and then the Mini is actually the same resolution. It's a 2.7K, I believe. It's an older drone. Get it synced to GPS, and then you gotta fly it up, take the video. You have to hit the record button, do the recording and everything, land it, put it away, unplug it, everything. It was like over 2 minutes that it took him to do all that, right? And he had this, I think he had this open up in the air, did what it had to do, come back, landed his hand, fold it, put it in his pocket. It was like 40 seconds. Or no, I think it was like, it was around there. It was like it took no time at all, right? So Yeah, portability wise and travel wise, like this is all you have to take, other than the extra battery pack. Like this is all you really have to bring with you to do what you need it to do. Where I have the DJI Mini 3, and it's like you got the remote, which is like huge. You got the drone, and then you got extra battery pack, which is it's like huge and it's heavy, right? I think this is only 125 grams for this thing. So, anyways, I'm gonna play with it for a little bit. I'm gonna do a test run, and then I'll just come back to it, and I'll let you know what I like about this. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Awesome. Hey everyone, Mr.MiyagiStyle. What are we doing tonight? What are we doing tonight? Did you see that video? Did you see that video? Did you see that video? I was like, I was being followed. Somebody was following me and videoing, recording me. It's kind of scary. You guys are probably wondering who was doing that or what was doing that. I'm going to be doing something different today. It's going to be on a gadget, not a camera. Well, kind of. It's not going to be an action camera. So I'm just kind of moving away from action cameras or the Ace Pro for a while because there's really nothing much going on. So I'm going to do something different. You saw me do one with the Canon printer. So I'm going to start doing some gadgets and tech stuff and stuff that I use that I find really interesting that I could use for traveling. This is something I kind of pulled the trigger on, guys. This is not a cheap gadget. So I've been kind of watching this company for a while now. I saw this first a couple years ago. I think it was a couple years ago. And that looked cool, and the price they were looking at was, it's like really expensive. It's still not cheap. It's by the company called 00 Robotics. It's the Hover Air X1. I don't know if you guys heard of this. Really cool. You've probably seen it on the internet or seen it on YouTube. I'm not gonna do all the different features. That's been covered to death, and you can just do a search on Hover Air X1. It's this guy right here. It's this guy right here. Ooh. It is. Everybody's calling this a drone. It's not a drone. I don't think it is. I have a drone. I have two drones. Drones are usually the ones that, for example, I have the Mini 3 Pro. I have the pen camera. So this is a really new one. This is one of my first ones I played with. This is really cool. So this actually folds up, and I took this traveling with me a few times. Unfortunately, the video is horrible on it. It's not the greatest. It's like 720p, if that. But it folds up into a nice little thing like this. And you can actually use it as a power bank as well, and a flashlight. It has a little camera in the front. It's not a gimbal camera, so it has to be adjusted manually. But it's kind of fun just to bring it with you. It's a pen drone, right? And this is the remote for it. So a drone is considered something that requires a remote, somebody to control the drone, to fly around and that kind of thing. And this is really useless without somebody controlling it, right? It just sits there and then floats. And same with the DJI. Like you can program it with waypoint stuff like that. With the DJI a little bit more. But the problem with these ones are like the DJI right here. It's big. It's expensive. It requires GPS, and sometimes you will need, depending on what country, you need a license. Big controller. Takes forever to set up, get it running, flying, videotaping, that kind of thing, putting it away and storing it and that kind of stuff, right? That said, put this away. That said, if you want cinematic video, highest quality 4K video, this is the baby right here. There's really nothing better than this kind of drone, right? You can get into the FPS stuff too. I thought about getting into the FPS, but it's just too complex. It's a huge learning curve. It's not cheap either, right? It's actually more expensive by the time you start building your own drones, parts, replacements, cameras, that kind of stuff, right? So I just never really got into it. And you need the transmitter as well. That thing is not cheap. Anyways, I won't get into too much of that. So I just like to stick with just a simple remote control drone, get it up, fly around, take videos, that kind of thing. Now, that's it. Why did I get this? For traveling. This is a really good thing for traveling. So why do I not consider this a drone? Because first of all, it doesn't use GPS. It doesn't have the kind of flight time or the distance of a drone. This is based on AI. It's actually fully automated, meaning that it's all pre-programmed to do. You can do some customization, but it's actually pre-programmed. So if I want to follow me, I just pick the option. It'll just keep following me, and I can set distance and height and that kind of stuff, and resolution and stuff like that. So I was actually quite surprised, because when I looked at this, it kind of looked like a toy. It is kind of a toy. It's a grown-up toy. But there's a lot more to this, and I'll have an excerpt of the screen capture of the app itself, and you can see all the features and all the presets and stuff like that. It's actually pretty cool. So, and you'll see some samples of what I can do with this thing. I'm not going to go really deep into this, because you can do a search. There's tons of people that do in-depth reviews of this, and the modes and the presets and all that stuff. I'm here to tell you, is it worth the money? For me, yeah, absolutely. It's not a cheap toy by any means. Like, this thing is $550 Canadian. You know, I think it's $399 US. But that said, it's not a drone. A lot of people are calling it a flying selfie stick, which basically it is. It's really the subject is usually you, the one who owns the hover. It's got a nice camera on it. It's on a gimbal. It's actually pretty neat. The stabilization on this camera is phenomenal, as you can see. When I took that video of it following me, it was actually pretty windy out. And I look back and drones, the hover's like this, but the picture is actually quite still. It's only 2.7K 30 frames maximum, okay, which is kind of sucks, because, you know, we're in the 4K era now. But I think the reason why they do that is because of the battery life, because it's tiny. Like, this thing is the size of this is my cell phone, and this is the drone, right? There's quite a difference, like, in terms of size. It's thicker, obviously. And it actually folds out. It's on like, you just pull it and it's magnetically closed, and it folds out into like a little drone or a little hover thing, right? Camera's in front, batteries on the top, 2 buttons. Okay. The coolest thing about this is, for me on vacation, let's say I'm on a resort, this fits in my bag nicely. I actually printed a nice little case for it. So it just fits in a case with the extra battery in the back. So I got the combo pack, which comes with a charger and an extra battery, so 2 batteries. Each battery of average runtime is about 9 to 10 minutes, continuous. But you probably think that's really low. But if you think about it, it's a selfie drone. It's a selfie drone stick, right? It's really not designed to take that long of a footage. It's designed to take 30 seconds at a time, a minute at a time, or 3 minutes at a time, that kind of thing, right? But I do have the secondary battery, and it charges pretty quickly, right? But this thing is cool. Like, the AI on this thing is unbelievable. It actually tracks me and tracks my face. And you'll see videos. I'll list a bunch of videos that you can take a look at, really good ones, that go through all the presets and samples and stuff like that. There's people that are using this at the following. One of the options that I'll be using a lot is the follow and the dolly. So the follow is basically when you launch the drone, it'll actually follow wherever you are and track you. So if I'm on a bike, or if I'm walking or skateboarding and stuff like that, the thing goes up to 15 miles an hour. It's actually pretty quick. The limitation is 15 miles an hour flight speed, and it's 50 feet only maximum height. So yeah, it's not really a drone, because drones can go much higher than that, right? So, but it's very quick. The tracking is really good. It only has a bottom sensor for the ground. You're not supposed to use it on water or snow. It does not work well over water or snow, just because of the way it senses the ground. It actually will dodge on apparently what it does is it's got this I forgot what it's called. It's got this feature in it. It's an AI feature that actually creates a 3D dimensional view, and it will actually know where obstacles are as is through the camera. So if it's going forward and going sideways, it can actually maneuver around objects. It's pretty wild. You'll see videos of it. People are going around trees and stuff like that. It's actually going around trees and stuff like that to a point, right? It's not perfect, but It's like, this thing is tiny. It's just a little thing, like it just folds out, right? The other cool thing about this is that it's very safe to use because the propellers, the 4 propellers, are encaged in propeller guards. Okay, like a whole cage of it, and it flies perfectly fine. So if it hits you or whatever, or if it hits something, it's not gonna blow out. Like I've blown up propellers on my DJI drone, and it just breaks, snaps right off, right? And there's no way of doing that because it just hits these. They're like propeller guards, right? Bumpers, and it just bumps it. And so what it does is when it bumps into something, it doesn't just fall down, and it'll actually move itself out, and it'll actually land by itself, and you can go and retrieve it, right? Like I said, look at the video. Like this is awesome. Like I can't wait to take this when I'm in Dominican or if I'm in Jamaica, because I'm at the resort. I can just literally take this out of my bag and have it up in the air in 15 seconds, and it'll follow me around. And it's not super loud. It's actually not as loud as my DJI drone. Yeah, it's got a whining pitch, but it actually you can have it follow you 3, 5 feet away, 10 feet away, 20 feet away. You can do like a whole bunch. Anyways, look at the video. There's a bunch of stuff you can do with this. So yeah, I can't wait to get this out and on the resorts and stuff like that. If I'm doing tours and stuff like that, I can just launch this and fly around and just have it, you know, orbit around me and take videos and stuff like that. And actually do photos as well. It does a whole bunch of hand gestures. So they just updated the firmware on this, and you can do like, you can have it go this way or go this way by hand gestures. You can do orbit. You can do sky, bird's eye view. It goes right up. You can have it land. It always lands on your hand. When you put it underneath it, it will actually automatically detect your hand and land on it. And that's how you actually retrieve the drone. The gesture, the dolly gesture is actually kind of neat because the dolly gesture is actually always in front of you. And as you're moving towards it, it backs off. And it's always filming you from the front view, right? And I'm like, how do you get that drone back? Because you can't get near it. Because if you get near it, it goes away, right? And there's a couple ways of doing it. There's a way where you can set it so if you stand there and don't move for 3 seconds, it'll stop recording. It'll actually come to you, meaning that when you stand still for 3 seconds, that means that you're done, and it knows and it'll come to you. It's pretty wild. I don't have that because there's sometimes where I'll stop, and then I want to shut off. So I shut that off, but now they have gestures. So if I put my hand up and cross it, and the drone will actually notice it, pick up the gesture, it'll actually disengage the recording, and I'll actually finish it, come right at me, and I can just land on my hand. Like it's just the AI on this thing is just unbelievable. I can't believe what they put into this little hovercraft. I'll call it a hovercraft, not a drone. But yeah, it's by any means it's not cheap, you know. But I'm seeing a lot of use, and the video quality is actually really at 2.7K. It's still pretty good. There's still a lot of people shooting at 2.7K instead of 4K because they don't want that big file size, right? As you can see on the sample I showed you, it's pretty clear, right? And that was on it was actually on a pretty cloudy day today. It doesn't do great at nighttime or dark areas. You know, it's not an action camera. It doesn't have the capabilities of an action camera. Like with good natural light and sunlight, it's beautiful, and you'll see some of these videos out there. They're just phenomenal. Anyways, that's it for this. You'll see some samples and the samples of the software, and then the opening of this drone. So any questions, drop me a line. That's it. Until the next gadget, we'll talk to you guys soon. Respect. Have a good one.